Hello everybody. So this week we are moving on to a new chapter in the Rodgers and Ottman. This time we're taking the rhythmic lessons of last week and applying them to melodies this week. This week also serves as kind of a review of where we ended up last quarter with melodic and harmonic dictation. So hopefully those skills haven't gotten too rusty, and we're going to move on to new melodic and harmonic possibilities going forward into week 3. Okay? So melodies with subdivisions. If you're still not particularly comfortable with counting subdivisions quickly, I would definitely go back and review some stuff from last week. But in any case, here we go. So last week we subdivided rhythms in simple and compound time. Remember that if we take a beat, say a quarter note in 4/4, and we divide it in 2, that's the division, eighth notes. But if we divide those in 2, we get the subdivision, 16th notes. The same applies to compound time, where if we take a dotted quarter note and divide that into 3, we get eighth notes. Divide that again, we get 16th notes. We get 6 16th notes in, say, 6/8 time. Okay? So we counted them, we performed them, and we dictated them. Okay? So this week we're doing the exact same thing, but we're applying these rhythms to melodies. So today is going to be all about singing. Next time will be all about melodic dictation, and then we'll resume with harmonic dictation on Friday. Okay? So we're reviewing right where we left off last quarter. We're picking up right from where we ended up in week 9, okay? So let's go ahead and do some warm-up. So in any case, let's go ahead and just do some scales, okay, to start us off. Hopefully the sound is a bit better this week. I've tried to tool some things, and as you can see, I have a keyboard now. Okay, so hopefully that all works out. But in any case, let's just go ahead and start off. Let's do a major scale, ascending and descending in quarter notes, please. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, take the same scale. Let's do harmonic minor, please. Slower. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so remember we've got lay, skip to T to give us an augmented second there. Okay, now let's do this key here. Okay, let's do natural minor, so don't raise T, careful, it's lay, te at the top, ready? I'm going to go ahead and play the pitches, you go ahead and sing the notes, ready? 1, 2, natural minor. Okay, finally let's do one more. Let's go here. Let's do melodic minor. Remember melodic minor, we raise la and T going up and lower it going down. We're pretty bad about switching to te on the way back down, so be really careful with switching from at the top. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so you may be asking, why aren't we doing intervals? Here we are. So, in addition, before we begin by singing, let's go ahead and do some intervals. So, I've given you 4 starting pitches here. I haven't given you the written second note yet, just because I want you to see it in your mind. The D stands for descending, the A stands for ascending. So, given this starting pitch, hear a descending tritone in your head. A descending tritone. Hear this pitch again. Go ahead and try singing it. Okay, there it is. Okay, very nice. Now, given this pitch, okay, hear an ascending minor sixth. Hear it in your head. Now sing it. Okay. Hopefully you were there with me. Okay, remember it sounds kind of like we're going from mi up to do in a first inversion triad, or if it sounds kind of like we're a half step too far to the fifth. Okay, so this next one, okay, the C clefs, they're back. Okay, so this next one, we've got a D. Okay, so sing this note. Now hear a third above in your head. Now sing the major third. Okay, now finally, we've got a B in tenor clef. Hear the descending minor third. So sing this note. And hear the descending minor third. Let's hear it. Okay, so if you're still shaky on your intervals, or rather if you've gotten rusty with your intervals, I would definitely review those because next time we'll be doing interval dictation alongside our melodic dictation, so careful. Okay, so here we go. Here is our first melody for today. This is 11.1 in your book, right at the beginning. Notice we've got a preponderance of 16th notes now. We'll be having 16th notes and other subdivisions in our simple time and in compound time this chapter. Notice we've got a pickup. The pickup doesn't happen on the beat before. It happens on the and before. It's a half a beat before. And we've showed two 16th notes there. Now, if you look at your first note and your last note in the key signature, you could probably figure out that this is in fact in D major. Okay, let's all sing D major, please. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so this melody is great because it's repetitive rhythmically, and it rises to the top. It goes from bottom do to top do, and then falls back down to bottom do. Okay, and almost every single interval between notes is a step. Okay, so this one shouldn't be too hard to just bang out right away. Okay, take about 10 seconds to look at it. Look for anything tricky. Remember your solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? Pardon me, this is like my fourth of these recorded in a row today. So, in any case, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and try this out. Ready? This is our 8th note pulse, okay? 1 and 2, okay? That's our pulse. Ready? I'm going to give us 3 beats, 3 8th notes, and we're in, okay? I'm going to go ahead and play along with you. We're going to do it once with me and then once without me, just to kind of get us back into the swing of singing melodies again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, again, it's all steps. It's just going forwards and back. A warm-up that you could do on, for any scale. Okay, I don't know how quite well that went, but I'm assuming it went pretty swimmingly because it is just a major scale and steps. So, the biggest component here is the rhythm, and I chose a deliberately moderate tempo so that we could really get the rhythm quickly, because the more you slow down these subdivisions, the less they feel like subdivisions anymore, okay? So, let's go ahead and try that again. This time without me, I'm going to go ahead and conduct. So, I'll give you 3 8th notes in again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, good. Very nice. So, let's go ahead and move on to another one now. So, this one, taking a look at it, it could be F major, it could be D minor. We're not entirely sure at this point. We start off on A, which doesn't really give away one or the other. It could be mi or it could be sol. If you look at where we end, though, we do end up pardon me, on D. So it would probably mean that this is in fact in D minor, and we're beginning on Sol. Okay. Now notice we don't have any accidentals. We don't have to worry about any sort of laws or T's. We're working entirely from Sol down to Do. Okay. Now we've got some skips here, but rhythmically this is pretty repetitive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Okay, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. This is your starting pitch. Okay, scan through this. Look for any sort of skips that might be perhaps confusing to you or that you just want to take a look at. And we're going to go at the same tempo as the last one, where this is the 8th note pulse. Okay, and this time I'm not going to give you any assistance with the piano right away. It'll all be on you. Okay, so, okay, take about 10 seconds. Okay, so it's down here. Okay, that's where it's written. You can put it wherever you'd like. Okay, I'm going to end down here. Right? So, rhythm's the important thing. Okay, again, as we've talked about before, when in doubt, if the rhythm and the pitch are good, you can abandon solfege. I don't think we need to here, but just keeping that in mind going forward. So, here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and conduct you. I'm going to conduct in 4, but I'm conducting the 8th notes. Okay, ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so that was the end there. Hopefully you were with me. I would imagine that there's a rhythm that some of us are probably putting a bit early, which is a common thing to do for certain subdivided rhythms. So take a look at the 4th measure, or the final measure of the 2nd staff, or the 2nd measure of the 3rd staff. They all have the same rhythm. We've got this long time. We've got a beat and 3/4, and then a 16th note right at the end. So be careful that when we're singing this, we're not doing 1, 2, or pardon me, 1 and 2, right? That's always the tendency, is to kind of make things longer and put them into more easily definable spots, but this is quite a long time, and it's a 16th note pickup, not an 8th note pickup. So it would be 1, 2, pardon me, 1 and 2 E and a 1, right? Do we see that? So make sure that we're doing that every time, okay? So you can go ahead and check your pitch on this one. This one's really straightforward. It's basically all just the tonic minor triad. So it's 11.4 in your book. So if you didn't feel super confident about the pitch, go back through at a keyboard or on your instrument and just go ahead and double check the pitches on this. But in any case, this one's not too bad. This one's not too bad. We're floating between 2 pitches, tonic and dominant mostly. Okay? So this next one here, it's pretty straightforward. The only exception is that it's in tenor clef. Ooh. So, tenor clef is back with a vengeance. We've got 8 measures here. Okay? This one, like the last one, though, has some other similarities in the fact that it's a lot of interplay between tonic and dominant. Okay? So, look at what your first pitch is. Your first pitch is an E flat. And then you go up to A flat. And then we also end on A flat. And our key signature is the A flat major key signature. So this is in fact A flat major, okay? And if you scan and look at where your pitches are typically falling, we've got lots and lots of A flat tonic triad interplay. We've got a couple passing notes here and there and some motivic repetition, okay, which you can visibly see. In fact, the rhythms for the first half and the second half are identical to each other. And even the fragment at the beginning is the same as the fragment in the middle. So this one, despite the clef and despite the rhythms, is actually fairly straightforward. Okay, so Let's just go ahead and go right into this one. We're going to do it with the keyboard. Okay, so can we all sing A flat major, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and your first pitch is sol, down there, okay? This is going to be our quarter note tempo. Bum, 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 okay? So, knowing that that's our tempo and having our tonal context in mind, go ahead and take 15 seconds and double check solfege, double check rhythms for this one. 15 seconds, that'll be our quarter note tempo, okay? Okay. Notice we got a pickup there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and count us in. I'm going to give us a beat and a half, okay, before our pickup. Ready? 1 and 2. Lots and lots and lots of interplay between the one chord. Okay, we've got some resting on the dominant, which again implies a 5 chord of some kind. Right? But mostly, in terms of melodically speaking, we're landing on tonic triad pitches. So let's try that again. Same tempo. Okay, let's go ahead and catch any rhythmic mistakes that we just made. Okay, here's do, sing do. And here's sol, sing sol below. Okay, ready? 1 and 2. Okay, so if your C clefs are rusty, I would definitely brush up your tenor and your alto clef again. But in any case, that one should be relatively straightforward, okay? Especially with how repetitive the rhythmic motives are, okay? So here's this next one. We've got 2 more, okay? So this is our penultimate one. So take a look at this one. Now, given the starting and the ending note and given the key, this is probably E major, okay? E major. Now, you can see that there's lots of repetitions here. Notice that? Lots of motivic repetitions. So that works out in your favor. Notice also we have an irregular starting point. So we start on the of beat 1, so to speak. Okay? So let's go ahead and sing E major. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so starts on do, ends on do. Not a lot of steps or leaps to take into account of here. The biggest leap that we have is from do down to sol, which we're old pros at. Notice we've got some long durations and we've got some rest built in there, but this one primarily is a rhythmic challenge. So this first time through, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. I'm going to give you the first 2 measures, and I'm going to stop on the downbeat of the 3rd measure, and I want you to continue. I'll then rejoin you at the last staff, okay? So the middle staff and the end of the first staff, you're on your own, okay? So, okay, this is where it's written, okay? Take about 10 seconds and review this really quick. Okay, so, again, I'm going to play the first 2 measures for you. I'm going to stop at the 3rd measure. I would like you to continue, okay? And then it will rejoin you at the end, okay? So let's go ahead and see how your internal clock and how your counting is doing as well as your pitch, okay? So this is kind of a way to kind of self-diagnose how much we're retaining pitch in our beats. Okay, ready? So this is going to be our quarter note. So think about what the 16th note would be. Okay, I'm going to give us 3 beats, and then we're in on the of beat 1. Ready? 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and. Keep going. Okay, so hopefully we ended together. I did help you out by conducting, if you were paying attention, but I tried not to give you any sort of aural hint as to where the pulse was. So hopefully you were able to maintain, keep that sense of E major throughout, even when I dropped out, and hopefully you were also able to jump back on and keep a steady pulse through the rests and through the subdivisions, okay? So let's do one more. This one's perhaps the hardest one we're going to do today. It's in 6/8. Okay, remember we have our 6/8 subdivisions, and in addition we've got, as we can see here, probably a minor key, judging by the first note of the full measure and the final note, given the key signature. It's probably going to be F sharp minor. So notice how in that second measure we've got T and La, so we've got some melodic components here. Okay, so let's go ahead and sing F sharp melodic minor. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, starts on sol, leaves up to do, okay? Super common, super standard. So take 30 seconds and look over this one for pitch and for rhythm, okay? This one's going to be trickier because it's both compound and it's more melodically tricky than the ones we've done today so far, okay? So take 30 seconds. Okay, so hopefully you still have a sense of where we are, right? Sol up to do, okay? So for this one, the first time through, I'm not going to give you any assistance. This is going to be a real challenge for you. No assistance, okay? All I'm going to do is I'm going to be conducting, okay? I'm going to be conducting the big beats, so you're only going to get 2 beats per measure, so they're going to be slow beats, okay? Then we'll go back through a second time, and then we'll do it with the piano's assistance. You can go ahead and double check your work, okay? So remember how we count compound time and how we count subdivisions. So instead of 1 la li, 2 la li, we add in tas in the middle. 1 ta la ta li ta, 2 ta la ta li ta, okay? So all of your 16th notes are going to have some sort of ta involved, okay? So this is going to be our 8th note pulse, okay? I'm going to give you 10 more seconds to review in case that's too quick for you. This is the 8th note pulse, okay? Okay. Here's sol. Here's do. Okay? I'm going to give you 5 and you're in. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so hopefully we ended together. I would imagine that the trickiest rhythms are probably the dotted rhythms in the second measure and in the sixth measure, okay? So, or, right? So, the counting for the first beat of the second measure, okay? This is on T, T, La, T, Sol, okay? So 1, Ta, La are all on that first dotted note. We have Ta, Li. 1, Ta, Li, 2, right? The same counting happens in the sixth measure, although we break out Li with its own Ta. So we have 1, Ta, Li, Ta, 1. Oh, pardon me, 1, Ta, Li, Ta, 2. Okay? Does that make sense? So, let's go ahead and try this again. Hopefully, you all ended with me and we had a pretty decent time with the melody and the singing there. This time, go ahead, go back through, double check with the piano now, with the keyboard. Okay, ready? So here's Do, here's Sol. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so I would say that the hardest interval in this, and I hope that you caught it on the second time, the hardest interval in this is in the last measure of the first staff, where we go from Sol up to Me. Okay, can we sing Sol? Now sing Me. Okay, yeah, that one's a little tricky. Okay, it kind of jumps out of nowhere. Okay, but in any case, the rest of this is relatively straightforward, and I actually quite like this melody a lot. I think it's a quite beautiful melody. So, again, you can go back and rewatch this video, or you have the numbers to practice these on your own in your book. So if any of these examples were a little bit tricky, or you're still unshaky about, that's something to review before Wednesday. Okay? So let's go ahead and talk about things to practice and look forward to next time. So I would, pardon me, voice crack. I would recommend arpeggiating chords as warm-ups, okay? I'm not going to do them in videos for this week. We will probably incorporate them into videos in the future, but we've done them before, where we've done Do, Mi, Sol, Do, and then we've done our 5 chord with Sol, Ti, Re, and Fa, and we've done the same thing with 2 chord and 6 chord and 4 chord, right? I would go ahead and review that, because that will be useful for you for tying your melodic dictation and your melodic understanding to your harmonic understanding, okay? And also, try doing them in inversions too. So for instance, doing a root position, or pardon me, a first inversion tonic triad. So do Mi, Sol, Do. You get a fourth in there then, okay? Things to try. Also, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Practice scales and skips and other patterns. So something like this. Oh, pardon me. And so on and so on. That's a really good way to kind of practice the bigger intervals, or you could do Remington type stuff. Pardon me. Okay, and so on. Okay, things like that. On a theoretical level, remind yourself of where we left off with harmony last quarter. Okay, our harmonic possibilities are pretty vast. We have a lot of tools in our toolbox here, and we're going to be using them pretty extensively, and that's going to be the big activity for Friday. So remind yourself, review some notes, or just kind of remind yourself of both the theory but also the solfege to listen for. So remember, we have all these chord possibilities in major on the left and minor on the right. Okay, so remember, what's the difference between 2 versus 4? What's the difference between 6? What's a deceptive cadence? These are questions that you should remember from last quarter. Okay. Finally, here's your participation assignment. This is due Wednesday. This is due this Wednesday at 8 a.m. to my email, okay? Here's the 5 for you. In 11.11, there are repeats. I'd like you to take the repeats, okay? So this assignment will also be in the description for access later, but please send me MP3s to my email by Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., please. That will be our participation assignment for this week, okay? So with that, next time we're doing lots and lots of melodic dictation. I will see all of you then. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or set up an office hour.